Lower back pain. If you have lower back pain, you need to realize that the way the body works. If you have, so I had a gentleman who had lower back pain, and when he bent over, he would get a pull on the right back dimple up into the lower back. And since I specialize in the lymphatic system and I specialize in the sports, knowing like how to release muscles in a specific way, and just I have this flow that I understand of the body. Um, I asked him if I could work on him for 5 minutes. And he's like, yeah, sure. He's like, what, are you a chiropractor? I'm like, no, I'm not a chiropractor. I do massage. But I've watched him a couple times because I've worked out with him in a class, and he always has really tight underwear bands, and he has a tight sweatpants on top of that. So I knew for a fact, and just the way he was describing the pain, that it was due to an imbalance of flow. I didn't work on his shoulders. I only had literally like, I think I worked on it for like 2.5 minutes. And what I did was I did range of motion of his hips. I could tell that as we did range of motion, he was laying flat on his back, and I did range of motion to the outside. And he was not feeling it in his adductors. He was feeling it in his hips and his glute. So I tested the psoas muscle, and that was weak. I released the glute max, glute medius, and glute minimus 3 times just by digging my finger into it. It strengthened up the psoas muscle, and it made his range of motion, and they could actually start to feel the adductor kick up. We did that on both sides. He got up, said, "Oh, my back pain feels so much better." Now that was a quick fix, and it's going to come back. But his issue is his band is holding fluid in his glute system, and then he's trying to work out when you have a band that's around your waist and it's holding fluid in your glutes and your legs. That's going to make your hips shut off, your glute muscles shut off, and it's going to make your lower back work a hell of a lot harder to try to bend and twist. And it just doesn't like that. So um, lower back doesn't typically get fixed by working on the lower back. You have to let the fluid be released from the lower back, from the glute system, from the leg system, up the chain. So my recommendation is, if you have lower back pain, no matter what, if you have lower back pain and it's hip to hip, so you feel a sensation hip to hip, it's your core. It's your pubic crest to your rectus muscle. Really right at your pubic bone, and then right above that there's the rectus muscles that attach into that. Release that. Roll on a ball, self massage, dig into it. The best thing to do is get like a lacrosse ball or something like that, something hard, and lay on it and do crunches against it, and it's going to wake up those attachment points. That's going to release the fluid through your system. So people come in and they're like, "Oh, I have lower back pain," and they describe that. Right away I tell them it sounds like your core. And then, well, I get isolated, one side versus the other. Sometimes it'll flow back and forth between the two. That's a flow issue. They even said the word flow. It flows between. If you have an injury to your back, it's going to be an isolated pinpoint area. That's going to be probably a little different. We got to relieve the system, and then we'll flow it through. The thing about lower back is a lot of people that have the lower back issues is actually due to your shoulders. It's so funny, like everything is shoulders. If your shoulders aren't functioning, you're going to basically stack the fluid in your body, and it's going to build up, and it's going to create pressure over time, and it's just not going to want to work very well. So here's the breakdown. Just like if you saw my other video of the process and the way I work the body, the way to reduce lower back tension is to wake up your triceps, the attachments right here, this one. Wake up this, wake up your posterior delt, massage it, have somebody else massage it for you. Release your pec major, pec minor issue muscles. That lets the shoulders drop back. That allows blood flow to cycle through. Then go to your glute systems, release your glute medius, minimus, and maximus. Soften up the waistband, release your core. When you do all of that, stretch out your adductors, stretch out your hamstrings, and then reassess. That should usually take care of your system, of your lower back pain. Usually just release. So my wife, when she works out, and she works out a little hard, she works out super hard all the time. she'll come home and say, "Oh, my lower back's really hurting." So I'll have her, face away from me, and instead of working on her back, I'll dig my knuckles and stuff into her glute system, or my hands, my palms into her glute system, and I'll push it up over the waistband. She doesn't have a tight waistband, but she just works really hard when she works out, and she probably, when she fatigues, she uses a little bit more of her back muscles with that. And to release the lower back muscles, you release the glutes. Release the glute, get that flowing up through there. Lower back eases up, it cycles through her system. Um, yeah. So if you have lower back tension, quit foam rolling out your lower back. Go through the sequence: tricep, posterior delt, or even the full delt, pec major, pec minor, um, glute medius, max, med, min. Stretch out your adductors and work on your pubic crest / rectus attachments. And then recheck and see if your back still hurts, lower back. Give it a try. Let me know.